Hello everybody, my name is Swag and welcome to a Battlefront 2 tier list. This tier list, you may have seen loads of people do, but I think it's good to get a fresh perspective, especially in 2025, and from someone who is fairly experienced in the game and who plays a lot of Heroes vs Villains and Hero Showdown. I will give you guys my ranking of all these lightsaber heroes and villains, as far as how they do in dueling, and specifically more in Hero Showdown game modes. Which is what this tier list is more for, one-on-one sort of rankings here. And so we're going to start off pretty strong with Luke. Now, as far as how I'm going to rank these these different ranks here, we're going to look at things like their attack speed, so how their animation plays and how many hits you can get off quite quickly. Their stamina, which is very important in lightsaber duels, especially when you're consistently blocking and throwing in attacks. Stamina is really important. You also have things like your star cards, which are very important, and also your abilities. Now, for Luke, why is he kind of an S tier duelist? Well, with the right star cards, you can make Luke have pretty strong stamina. Like, it's almost not even an issue for him. And another thing that's great about Luke is he has absolutely incredible attack speed. For someone like Luke, honestly, new players would find Luke to be a pretty easy to use character, because you can kind of spam with him and do a lot of damage because he has such insane attack speed. As far as his abilities go, he has a force push. He has two force push abilities. He has his left ability, which is the force push, and then he has his repulse, which is his middle ability. You can use this technically offensively, but it's going to be a little bit harder to follow up unless you know the force push tech, where you can do a force push and then lunge and then close distance quicker. That is a skill curve, and that's really hard to learn. So I don't think most people are going to know how to do that stuff, and I also don't really know how to do that. So if I do know that sort of tech, I'm sure I would be able to use that force push tech a little bit more and get more utility out of it. But mostly those force push abilities are more sort of defensive, to be honest. It's good for running away and closing, distance to try and get your stamina back or try and recover some health. Luke's health regen is one of the best in the game. You take damage, you will recover that HP very quickly. I think he has one of the best health regen in the game as far as how quickly you recover health, but it's obviously not a big amount of health, but still it's great. As far as some star cards you can use with him, highly recommend on any of these heroes that you mostly use stamina cards or anything that can help you with health or health regen. As far as Luke, it's mostly stamina cards. He does have one card, Intensify, that allows you to gain damage resistance when you're using your right ability, which is your dash attack. And that's pretty good because just spamming that sort of right ability, you get a decent amount of damage resistance. Overall, with all the star cards, with great attack speed, with his great health regen, Luke is an absolutely insane duelist. He is super agile, super great, and there's loads of different ways that you can play him. So, as far as light side duelists, he is one of the best. Rey is also someone who I would consider S tier. Now, I don't know about you, but I have been hating to play against Rey because, first of all, the mind trick is really annoying. It brings you down to like minus 60 sensitivity. It's crazy. It inverses your controls, and new players definitely find it hard to play against. As far as dueling, it can be annoying, but if you know how to counter the mind trick, which is just by dashing back, it's not that big of an issue. The main issue with Rey is when she does her left ability, which is the charge. Her charge attack is absolutely crazy. She can literally be in front of you, use her charge, get behind you and knock you down, and then follow up with about 600 damage, because that's how stupid the follow-up attacks are after the charge. You get knocked down and she could throw some fast ass attacks at you. So her attack speed is also something that's great. Her middle ability allows it to gain extra stamina. Stamina is great. You can get more stamina. Fantastic. That's really good. That's what you want in a duel. You want lots of stamina, HP, health regen, all that good stuff. So the middle ability gives her more stamina, which is great. As far as cards go, I'd say they're pretty mid, to be honest. I think she has a card which lets her get more stamina as well, which, I mean, if you have cards just for stamina, that's great. Your stamina is never going to be a problem. Overall, with her kit, with her fast attack speed, she has two abilities that are super annoying to play against, and an ability that gives her better stamina. That's honestly ridiculous. Like, extremely, extremely powerful. And I'd argue her abilities are way better than Luke's. Because with Luke, you're kind of just playing more defensively with those force push abilities and the repulse. With Rey, you've got that mind trick, you've got that charge attack, you've got more stamina. It's honestly, I would say Rey is superior to Luke in this regard, and she is definitely an S tier hero. Yoda. Yoda's an interesting one. Most people would probably put Yoda as complete dog shit, and I sort of agree. For most people, you probably don't know how to play Yoda, or you do not have the right cards for him. I will put Yoda in B. Yoda is a B tier character, I think, or maybe a C tier. It is arguable, but I think a lot of people give him too much slack. Let me explain. With Yoda, you know, he has his force push, which is like special, but it doesn't really matter. It's just a force push. He has a special kind of block. That doesn't really matter too much. His middle ability gives him more HP, kind of like Vader's middle ability. And he has a dash attack, his right ability, that goes through block, which is extremely, extremely good. Some downsides to Yoda is his HP and attack speed are just horrible. The amount of HP this guy, I think this guy has 600 HP, which is like equivalent to a Blaster hero, if I'm not mistaken. And for a Jedi Grandmaster, I don't know how the fuck he has such horrible health and such horrible attack speed. It's ridiculous. It's very hard to get counters in with Yoda because of his slow ass attack speed, and when you get a knockoff, you're only able to really hit one lightsaber swing in because Yoda always does this spinny ass bullshit attack when he does his attack speeds, when he does his attacks. And so you're not able to throw in multiple attacks in because the opponent can just get up and then block, and you're only able to hit one, which is not that great of a punish by knocking someone down. Whereas with these other characters, when you get a knock, you can hit like 3 attacks or some crazy ass bullshit, but the Grandmaster can only hit 1. That's not great. And as far as cards go, he's actually not too bad. He has 2 cards that give him extra health, I think, or he takes less damage and he deals more damage. Those should be intrinsically with Yoda. You don't... I think if DICE were to return, they should have just given those stats to him immediately and not force us to play cards like that, because those cards just don't play that much into Yoda's kit and they're too minimal to really justify putting them on. So you have way better star cards to go for. So if you're going for those star cards that give him extra damage resistance and more damage to villains, you're probably not picking the right cards. For Yoda specifically, you really either want to play into his middle ability or his right ability. Because his middle ability gives him more HP, you want to maximize that sort of use out of it. So there's 2 cards specifically that you do want for Yoda that are really good. And because his right ability goes through block, and obviously it's great. His right ability allows you to do damage through block, which is great because you can apply more pressure to their health regen, diminish their health a little bit more, and just keep your opponent on your toes, which is great. So you want to play into his right ability, and there's a card specifically for that that allows you to get another dash attack in there, which is great for the start of the battle because that means you get 2 attacks at the start of the battle. Overall, he's not bad. He's definitely one of the worst duelists on this list, but he's by no means the strongest or the worst. His kit is good. If they were to come back and give him extra health or dealing the ability to deal more damage, or give him extra health regen or something like that, I think Yoda would be up there with these 2. He would probably be S tier because his middle ability is great. His right ability is great. The only thing that sucks about him is his attack speed and his minimal ass health. But overall, I think B tier is solid. If you know how to play him, you know, you can shine with him, but it'd be much easier to play these other heroes right here. Because you can get absolutely destroyed with your slow ass attack speed and minimal health. So B tier I think is comfortable. Obi-Wan is S tier. By far he is an S tier duelist. Unbiased by any of these. I've played with all these heroes, and Obi-Wan is an absolute beast of a duelist. Most of his shining grace is his health regen. His health regen, I believe, is the best in the game, and then Count Dooku is second, if I'm not mistaken. But Obi-Wan has the craziest health regen in this game, and you can put cards onto Obi-Wan to get even more health regen. And you can give him extra stamina, which is great. Get a bit more damage with your charge attack with a forward star card. He's pretty solid. This guy is the parry god. If you play Obi-Wan and you just know how to master him, you will win most of your duels, because Obi-Wan has the greatest stamina in the game. He has the best health regen in the game. So if you are getting pressured and you need to back away, that's fine. You'll recover most of your HP. If half of your HP is gone, you will recover all that HP and go back to full HP. That's crazy. So really, you can probably take more risk with Obi-Wan as far as attacks go, and probably play a bit more aggressive, even though he's a defensive duelist. But Obi-Wan is just so good. As far as his abilities go, his force push is a bit ass, I can't lie. The only time you may want to use your force push is if someone's being really aggressive to you, and you kind of want to give a little bit of space off. You don't want to hold the force push ability, you just want to kind of hold it for a second and then let go. So you do like a short force push, just to cover a bit, just to get yourself away from the opponent and get a bit of distance. His middle ability, great at stopping any aggressive plays that a Kylo person might be doing if they're rushing up to you with their middle ability all the time. Or you're playing against a really aggressive Maul, who, although there is a bug with Maul that's a bit annoying, because Maul, when you use the mind trick on Maul, sometimes it doesn't work, and so he still has his abilities for some reason. But yeah, there's some bugs and issues out here that are annoying. But overall, Obi-Wan, against most people, the mind trick is super strong, because it cancels out the abilities and they basically can only do basic attacks and block. And then he has his forward card, or his forward ability, where he does a forward attack, and then you can do a follow-up with that does like a little spin attack at the end. It's alright, it's not bad. You can get your opponent, it's just a bit slow sometimes, and so they can counter it by either just, you know, using force abilities, or if you're mind tricking them and they can't use force abilities, then they can just dash backwards and then avoid it. So it's not that great of an ability, to be honest. But overall, his health regen is incredible. His mind trick is great, and he has some of the best stamina in the game as well, and you can make his stamina even better with star cards. So he's definitely up there as far as one of the best duelists. Anakin is not S tier, but I think he's A tier. Unfortunately, Anakin, when DICE have left the game, came with a few issues and bugs with his heroic might. If your heroic might is cancelled at the right time by the opponent, you'll be stuck there unable to block or do anything, and you will just take so much damage, and it's so annoying that they didn't actually fix any of these issues when they left the game for Battlefield 2042. Anyway, there are some things about Anakin that is a bit of an issue that's not placing him in S tier. One of those issues is his stamina. Now, yes, you can get Safeguard to help you boost stamina, but that Safeguard ability, the Safeguard card is only useful as you extend the fight. It won't, your stamina initially in the fight will be dead ass shit. As you progress the fight and you're kind of dueling for a while, Safeguard starts to kick in because you're both dealing damage to each other, and as you progressively do damage with your lightsaber, the stamina starts rising more with Anakin, which is great. It's just initially in the fight, it's not too good, which is the problem. Obviously, there is the Anakin combo that you can do, Force Pull into the middle ability, And if you wanted to, you could use your right ability, but I wouldn't advise doing that. I would just do basic attack. You mainly want to use his right ability when the opponent is blocking, because that right attack that he does, where he lifts his lightsaber in the sky and does like a downward attack, it goes through block. And you want to make sure you're using that when the opponent is blocking, so that, you know, you're putting more pressure on the health, putting more pressure on the health regen and stuff like that. As far as his health, you can boost star cards to give him more health. That's completely fine. As far as should you use the star card that gives him more attack, more basic attack damage, I wouldn't advise doing that, because that will drain your stamina very, very much. And stamina is a very important thing for Anakin that he doesn't get a lot of. So giving him massive strikes is a very risky play that I wouldn't advise, because stamina is really important in lightsaber duels, and you don't want to run out of stamina in a lightsaber duel, because then you're fucked and you will get pressured and you will have to run away and you'll take a lot of damage. So yeah, there's a few issues with Anakin that don't place him at S tier. He does also sometimes do this weird ass spinny attack, which is just extending his attack speed that just doesn't need to happen. But sometimes his attack speed is alright. But there's that one initial attack he does where he just spins, and he literally doesn't need to. It's crazy. But most of the time he is fine. You can win with Anakin most of the time, but yeah, there's just issues that he has with stamina and the bug with his heroic might that's really annoying, that just put him in A tier. Now, this is all the light side duelists done. Now we are going to move into dark side duelists. Vader. When we're talking about Vader, we can talk about carded Vader or uncarded Vader. If we're talking about carded Vader, he is the #1 dark side duelist. If we're talking about uncarded Vader can actually be a bit of an issue. Like, if you're uncarded, I'd probably put him in A tier, to be honest. If you are carded, he's obviously S tier, right? Because he has... Mainly, you're rocking the cards that give him longer choke time, more damage resistance, I think, when you use Focus Rage, and extra health. Those are the 3 cards you generally use, or the cards that I would generally use when I'm using Vader, if I am going to use those cards. If you're not using cards, Vader can be a bit of an issue. There's some issues with Vader that I have that I think if you're using uncarded Vader, he would be A tier, because he can take a lot of damage very quickly, and like his health regen is not that great, because I guess they wanted to balance it with Focus Rage, so you would use your middle ability. And another thing is I feel like he's very slow to play in general, whether you have cards or whether you don't have cards. Vader is someone who's very slow, but he can dish out a lot of damage with his lightsaber. Like, it's pretty damn strong. I think he might have some of the strongest attacks, if we're not talking about things like Massive Strikes and Grievous's Sith Drain card. Vader on his own has some of the strongest lightsaber attacks without cards, which is great. Just some things that I think is a problem with him is his speed. I feel like he's very slow, he's quite vulnerable. But as far as his abilities go, they're all quite useful. You have his lightsaber throw, which is great for applying pressure and, you know, diminishing their health and stopping the health regen. You have his middle ability, which gives you extra health. If you put cards on top of that, you can take less damage when you use your middle ability, which just makes you more tankier. Means you can take more lightsaber hits. And his choke. We can't forget the choke combo. The choke into a forward jump into a lightsaber throw, and you can absolutely shred away half of their HP, and it's so satisfying to land. There's loads of different choke variations as well. You can do like a flying choke, you can do a no-look choke, which very techy, very aura farm. Mostly with Vader you're aura farming though. Carded Vader would be S tier, uncarded Vader would be A tier. Am I ranking carded Vader or uncarded Vader? I'm ranking in duel. The thing is, in duels, you are more respected if you use uncarded Vader. If you're carded, you're less respected because you're probably going to win most of the fight, to be honest. If you lose with carded Vader, that's a you problem, pal. This is very tough to say. I don't know if I want to rank a carded. If we're doing based on duels, I'm going to rank uncarded Vader. Right. I think that makes sense because we're not talking about HVV and having fun. We're talking about uncarded Vader. A tier, carded Vader would be S tier, obviously. Next up, Kylo. Kylo is an interesting one. I think his force pull is quite ass. I mean, you could technically catch the opponent off guard and land the force pull and then go into freeze and then do basic attack, which would be great. His health is very balanced. I think he has like 750 HP. His lightsaber attack damage is alright. I think the thing is, you can boost his lightsaber damage when you use the middle ability with cards. I think I'm someone who's still experimenting with Kylo's cards because I haven't really played Kylo in a while. But I wouldn't necessarily call him an S tier hero. His stamina's alright. You can, I believe you can reduce, or you can improve his stamina with cards as well. So anything that improves stamina is definitely going to be up here somewhere. He can't really boost his health, but you can boost his stamina. His attack speed's alright. His abilities, I guess the only thing we can judge really is his abilities. His freeze is super, okay, his freeze is good, but if you're going against an opponent who is constantly blocking, it's going to be very hard to land. But in the instance when you do land the freeze, that's great, because you can use the freeze to either run away and maybe recover some HP or get your stamina back, or you could use the freeze offensively and try and get some damage out. His middle ability is an interesting one. If you're going against a very skilled duelist who knows how to play against the middle ability, they will probably block the first two and then dash the third ability, or the third attack, sorry. So, and in all instances, you are parryable, given you do take less damage, but you're still parryable in those 3 attack instances. And there is a sort of a, I don't know if it's like a glitch or anything, but you can actually do 4 attacks with the middle ability that allow you to have the first 2, so the first 2 attacks will be blockable, but the final 2 attacks will be unblockable, which is very great. But then you have that instance of, well, they're all parryable as well. So in general, Kylo's a tough one. He is better than Yoda. I will say that. Do I put him on the same tier as Anakin and Vader? His freeze is just very good. His force pull, the thing is, his force pull, I doubt you'll be able to land it. So it just seems like a waste of an ability. And his middle ability just can leave you out in the open, and it can be quite risky. And there's no way to really escape. Once you use the middle ability, you are locked in it. So I think Kylo would be B tier, right? I think B tier is solid. By the way, if they're B tier, they are good, right? Just because they're not on the same level as A tier or S tier doesn't mean they're trash. In the right hands, you can say all these heroes are S tier, but that's not the case. That's not what we're saying. We're saying, in general, based on all the stamina, all the health regen, all the abilities, all the attack speed, how does this hero fare in general? And this is what I think the ranking should be. So that's Kylo. Darth Maul, who I've been playing a lot recently, so I may have some bias. I think he is A tier. Darth Maul is... Let's start with some disadvantages of Darth Maul. His health... He is a very squishy character. Let's just say that. His health is not great. His health regen is okay. But overall, he can take a lot of damage and he can lose a lot of that health and not be able to recover much of it, which means he is a very risky duelist to play as. If you play him incorrectly, you will die. You will lose so much of your HP and you will be forced to play really passively. which I don't think you want to do with Darth Maul. I think with Maul, you want to be out there and playing as aggressively as you possibly can, because that's kind of what his kit has been designed for. Let's talk about it. So his abilities. He has the lightsaber throw, which is great for applying pressure, especially when you're being aggressive, or you can use it defensively and create distance with your opponent. That's completely fine. But I think you'd get more use of it if you're playing aggressive and just applying more pressure to that health and health regen. He has his signature dash attack, his right ability, which you can use twice. And it's not okay. Now that I think about it, Maul has some issues with him that I might put him down to B tier actually. High B tier, not. I don't think he's worse than Kylo. With Maul, his dash attack is unfortunately. It's great for covering distance, and you could use it, you know, to run away, or you can use it to run up to your opponent and get close to them. The problem is you're very vulnerable in that instance where you use the dash attack. You can be parried, you can be knocked out with a force push, or just in general with a force push. His health is bad, his health regen's not great. His attack speed is something that is really good. His attack speed, I think, is like up there with Luke and Rey, which is great. His choke is not really landable. If you do land the choke, I would assume you're using it defensively, because offensively, you can land the choke, right? And then force push them away. But then you have to use the dash attack to get close to your opponent. And by then, they would have stood up. And so you've kind of just given them a chance to regen their health and stamina. You can do some tech with Maul's chokehold, where you can choke into a lightsaber throw while the opponent is being thrown in the air, and then your skill depends on, you know, can you land that lightsaber throw while they're falling. If you can do that, sure, chokehold can be a good thing, but you're using that mostly defensively. Otherwise, you're just giving them an opportunity to gain their health and stamina back. Another issue with Maul is that he's very vulnerable in... Well, he's vulnerable in all his abilities. His lightsaber throw, unlike Vader, where Vader, if you throw your lightsaber and hold block, you will block any damage coming towards you. With Maul, should you throw your lightsaber, you cannot block. So you are vulnerable in that instance when you throw your lightsaber, which is riskier. And I don't know why this... If they were going to balance these, just give Maul the ability to block, or remove Vader's ability to block with his lightsaber throw, one or the other. So it's very unbalanced between these two heroes. His choke, and I've seen this many a times before, people miss their choke and they get absolutely demolished. I think it's like you're stuck in the chokehold for 2 seconds as Maul, and you cannot do anything. You cannot block, you cannot run away. And so if you miss your choke on someone that's blocking and they push towards you, they will probably land a few hits on you. And with Maul, his health is very fragile. I wouldn't call him a glass cannon, but his attack speed is something that is the saving grace for him. A really aggressive Maul can definitely be scary to fight, but with his kit, he just has so many issues with his kit, and I'm someone that does play Maul, and I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible, but I think beta is comfortable for him. For most people, you're probably going to struggle to play as Maul, which makes sense. His stamina, every now and then his stamina can become an issue, because if you're playing aggressive or playing defensive and you need to block or attack a lot, stamina can be an issue, but you can always run away and stuff like that. So beta, I think, is comfortable for Maul. Grievous, oh god, Grievous. I'll be honest, I do not play a lot of Grievous, so this might be unfair for me to say. But I don't understand how people play Grievous. I literally don't. The bunny hop tech is just... It drains stamina. Okay, he has his 2 cards that give him damage resistance and extra health regen, which is something we are judging. Right. His stamina sucks, though. His stamina really, really sucks. Is he better than Maul and Kylo? His health regen is the only saving grace, and unfortunately Maul does have some issues with him. Damn, I don't think he's I'm gonna put him at the top of B tier. Oh, actually, I know exactly why. Grievous has 3 abilities. 2 of them are dogshit in a duel. His middle ability, if you ever use your middle ability, you should delete the game immediately. The middle ability is absolute trash for any duel. You should not be using your middle ability ever. It leaves you in the open. The opponent can simply run away and you cannot chase them because you're stuck at minus 0.5 speed when you're walking towards someone. His left ability, his Frost Surge, most of the time, you are not landing that attack. You are basically just unblocking so that you can land that attack. And then once you go into the Frost Surge attack, that opponent is either going to run away, or if they're good, they are going to parry you twice. In that Frost Surge animation, you can get parried twice, which is not great. So, that means 2 of his 3 abilities are trash. How can you tell me Grievous is good when 2 of his abilities suck in duels? You cannot. That's not. There's no argument for that. Sure, there is tech for his Frost Surge that you can do, where if you look at their shoulder and then spin your camera 90 degrees to the right, you can go through block. That is some bullshit. If your opponent is moving, I doubt you are going to land that Frost Surge. If they are dodging, moving around, you are not going to be able to specifically look at their left and right shoulder to be able to land that Frost Surge. I doubt that. Overall, I mean, you have his right ability, which all Grievous mains will spam, which is also parryable, by the way. But generally, you can just back away, dodge away, parry that if you wanted to. It's just Grievous, and his attack speed isn't great. Okay, his attack speed sucks in general if you're using just basic attack. If you did the bunny hop method, yes, his attack speed is great. But I just think, even though he has great health regen, he can have damage resist. The fact that you're not being able to use 2 of his abilities is just something that sucks. So I think B tier is fine. He's the top of B tier. I think he's better than Kylo and Maul. Obviously, he's better than Yoda. Alright, now the Count. Count Dooku for dueling is S tier. 100% he is S tier. His whole kit is genuinely designed for dueling. He has his lightning stun that's great for knocking an opponent down should they unblock, which you can do a follow-up attack with. He also has his right ability, which expose weakness, which allows the opponent to be slowed down, which is great if they're always running away. You can use expose weakness to kind of stop them from running away. And you have the middle ability, which is, I think, the shining star for Dooku and is what's so great about him. His middle ability can absolutely destroy anyone's HP. Given, yes, it can be parried, but it's very fast. It has a very fast attack speed, so I very much doubt you'll be able to parry any of those attacks. Obviously, if you're going to get someone that is constantly blocking, you won't be able to land any of those attacks, but that's just something you need to practice, going behind your opponent and trying to close the distance. But man, when you are able to hit just one lightsaber attack with that duelist ability, oh my god, you chunk away like a quarter of their HP in like instances of seconds, bro. It's honestly crazy. Star cards, Dooku has some of the best star cards in the game. Yeah, he has a star card that gives him Kenobi level health regen. Hell yeah, why not? He has a great ability. He can drain less stamina with his star cards. He has great stamina, great health regen, great damage should you use your duelist ability. He has a knockdown stun that you can follow up with. It's honestly crazy, man. For a duelist, Dooku is someone I would highly recommend anyone learn, because he is super, super, super good. And try and get him to, like, I think level 26 or 27. Just make sure you get the main star cards for him. That I'll make videos on each of these guys and who you want kind of cards on. But Dooku, you want the card that gives him better health regen, better stamina. I think there's also a card that gives him more health. Maybe I'm bugging. But yeah. Holy moly, that is a lot for Dooku, and that is just incredible. So that's the general list of all these characters, and I didn't put anyone in C tier or D tier. I don't think any of these guys are trash. It's just you need to make sure you mix the right star cards with them, and you understand each ability and when the right time is to use them for it to be effective. Obviously, as far as attack speed go, Yoda's the worst, as in general. But now on to the number one dark side duelist and the number one light side duelist. Who is number one for light side? Light side is going to be a bit of a tough one. Luke, let's just pull out the equation. Let me reorder this actually. I think, who's better, Obi-Wan or Rey? That is a little bit of a tough one. I'll put Vader behind Anakin. I think I'm happy with this B tier list. Kylo, I think I might get some slack with this Kylo one, to be honest, but I don't know if you're going to be able to land any of those force pull and force freeze abilities. Anyway, who is the strongest light side duelist? I'm thinking it's Rey. Like I mentioned before when I talked about Rey, her mind trick is super annoying to play against, but you know, you can back away with your inverse controls and try and run away from her and just hot block, and then you've countered the mind trick. But when she mind tricks you and then follows up with her charge, oh my good god, you are going to take so much damage. It's almost like a Vader combo where he does his choke into a jump attack into a lightsaber throw. All she has to do is mind trick you, get behind you with her charge, hit you in the back, and then follow up with about 4 lightsaber attacks and chunk away almost all of your HP, which is just, oh my god, that's so crazy. She has great stamina. Health is a little bit of an issue, I would say, with her, but man, her abilities are just so good, it doesn't even matter. If you're going against an aggressive Rey, I'm going to say it's game over for you. You'll get smoked. Alright. Rey definitely up there for number one light side duelist, in my opinion. Not Luke. I don't think Luke is the number one. Both of his abilities are kind of not really aggressive in any way, and you're mostly using it defensively. So that's why I don't think he's number one. Obi-Wan, could you make a case for him? His mind trick is really good, his stamina is really good, his health regen is amazing, his damage is aight, his force push is kind of and his forward attack is kind of because it's very slow. It's not like Rey's charge attack where she runs at you like Sonic the Hedgehog and just fucking blasts you from behind. With Obi-Wan, he kind of takes it very slow with his charge attack, so it's more easily avoidable than Rey's. So I think that's a fair case to make against these two down here. Who is the number one dark side duelist? Well, based on this ranking, it should be Dooku. And, well, it is Dooku. Dooku is the best duelist for the dark side, in my opinion. If it was a carded Vader, who would be the best? If it was carded Vader, I think I would still put Dooku at number one. Now, another thing I didn't talk about these two characters that is probably an even better case is the fact that you can put cards on them that, for Rey, you can put a card on her that gives her 3 dodges. Dooku, without cards, still gets 3 dodges. That is nuts. All these lightsaber heroes down here only get 2, whereas these two up here, the number ones, can get up to 3 dodges in their kit. Should you card them correctly and should you play them correctly, holy moly, guys. These guys can be absolutely insane to play against, and most of the time I would expect you to be winning with these two characters because they're just so good. Their kits are amazing. Health. So for Dooku, it's mainly his health regen. I think Dooku is honestly better than Rey though. His health regen is great. His damage with his middle ability is great. He has 3 dodges, she has 3 dodges. She gets a mind trick that's really annoying to play against. She gets a charge attack that can be very punishing if you get knocked down. Honestly, it would be a good duel to have Rey versus Dooku. Very interesting. But this guys is the tier list. Should you roast anyone? Roast me? I think this is a fair tier. Someone who has lots of experience, who knows how to card everyone. The only thing I might not understand is Grievous. But I don't know. We'll see. None of these guys are absolute trash. Yoda is not trash, guys. You just don't know how to play. Anyway, that's been the tier list. I hope you enjoyed. And of course, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.